It was raining and someone put pressure on me and I slipped and I heard a crack. Instantly went to the floor and sort of knew that I'd torn it. I was quite upset. This is my third ACL.
ACL injuries can be some of the most devastating in sport.
Honestly, my brain kind of shut out what happened. Like I kind of just twisted and I felt a pop and I heard it and then I just went to the ground.
What did you feel at the time?
Just pure sadness. Like I could just tell that what I had done and I just knew how hard it was going to be and how much energy and effort I was going to have to put through the whole experience.
Most of the time, they require surgery.
And I remember being in bed for 2 weeks, not being able to do anything. I had to get my mum to help me to do every single thing. And even just the medications you were on, they don't really make you feel great.
You don't realise how much muscle mass you lose from surgery. My leg got so small compared to the other one.
Followed by pretty intense rehab.
Getting back into rehab, I was sat on the leg extension machine crying because I physically, mentally I couldn't do it. It didn't matter how much weight it was, I'd just sit there and my brain wouldn't let me.
Just started running again and all of that, and that was going really well. And then recently I had a pre-stress fracture in my back. So that stepped me back a month and now I'm experiencing shin pain.
It can keep athletes sidelined for a whole year, sometimes even longer.
I reckon there for a while I was wondering how much I really enjoyed playing my sport. Yeah, there was quite a few times where I was thinking of just quitting, especially through the middle, the 3-month mark. It didn't really seem like I would get to that stage where I'd play again.
You think you're invincible until you're not.
And this injury is impacting more young people than ever before.
My name is Professor Kate Webster. I'm currently the Head of Department of Sport, Exercise and Nutrition Science at La Trobe University. But one of my real passions and interests is research in the ACL injuries. So the ACL, or the anterior cruciate ligament, is essentially a tough band of tissue that sits right in the middle of your knee. It connects your femur or your thigh bone to your tibia or your shin bone. And its job is to stop your knee from sliding and twisting too far when you might jump or land or change direction. So you could think of it a little bit like a seatbelt that keeps your knee stable.
ACL injuries usually happen without contact.
Carpenter, she's in some pain.
So you don't even need somebody to crash into you. It often happens when you're changing direction quickly. You might be moving to the side to dodge an opponent or landing from a jump, or planning your foot to pivot.
That did not look good at all.
Australia actually has one of the highest rates per number of people in the world. And right now, younger people have the highest chance of tearing their ACL.
An Australian study, which wrapped up in 2015, tracked the rate of ACL injuries over 15 years and found a 74% increase in ACL reconstructions in young people. A more recent study, released in 2022, which looked at ACL injury trends over 20 years, showed injury rates are still increasing, and it's happening fastest in kids under 15, particularly girls. Partly, this is because more young people and girls are playing high-risk sports like netball, soccer, footy and basketball. And there's better awareness and diagnosis than ever before. But experts reckon there's a couple of other things going on here too. One is that kids don't spend as much time outdoors as they used to. So our bodies aren't as prepared as they should be for playing sport.
I'm a kid from the 80s. We spent a lot of time on monkey bars, hard surfaces. We didn't have, computer games to the same extent. Children and adolescents go from spending a lot of time indoors, in front of screens, computers, gaming, to then playing competitive sport, but much less of that free play time. So definitely that's one of the lines of thought that may be contributing to these higher increases in ACL injuries.
At the same time, we're seeing more of something called early specialisation.
What this means is that younger people tend to focus on just one sport from a young age, and that often equates to longer seasons, extra training, and just less free play time. For young people, their bodies don't then get the chance to build all-round strength.
So I think early sport specialisation is a big one. So a lot of young athletes, they can't have a wide range of sports that they're playing, but that also leads to increased injury risk as well if you're just doing one sport, especially full time, not having an off season.
This is Anika. She's a physio and works with the under-19 Australian women's basketball team. She sees a lot of young people trying to manage high training loads and thinks it's contributing to injuries like ACL tears.
With a lot of these junior athletes that we see, they're playing club sport, they're playing school sport. They've got multiple sort of sports and sessions on that they're doing, and every coach expects them to be at 100% 10 out of 10 effort, and it's just not possible. So normally we recommend not exceeding the amount of training hours to your age. So if you're 15, we don't want you doing more than 15 hours of training per week.
Anika helps young people through the long and short-term impact of an ACL injury and works with young athletes and coaches to try and prevent them from happening. She says there are programs out there that have been shown to reduce the risk of an ACL injury by 40 to 50%.
I think there's still a way to go with the education to coaches. So it's like incorporating into your warm-ups. It might just be 10 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week can have a massive impact. Obviously, we'd rather be proactive than reactive. We don't want to wait for an injury to occur. It's like if we can get on top of it before something happens, then we can set you up for a really long, successful career in sport.
Returning to sport after any kind of injury isn't easy, let alone one that keeps you out of the game for 12 months. So experts encourage young people to find support and connection while they make their way through it.
Definitely reached out. I went and saw a sports psychologist. Through my second rehab, I included myself with my team a little bit more. Through my first rehab, I didn't do that, and I found it really hard. Through my mental health with that one, I struggled. There was quite a lot of girls that I knew did their ACLs at the exact same time. So we sort of created a support group, which was quite helpful because we were oh, how are you going? What stage are you up to? And kept each other motivated, I guess, to get back.
It's more difficult than you realise, and that's okay. I had a really good exercise physiologist who helped me and sort of helped explain the process. When I'm sitting there and I'm crying and can't do it, he sort of explained okay, it's your brain trying to protect you from re-injuring. You've gone through a lot of trauma. Having someone explain that process was really helpful.
What are you looking forward to most about returning to football?
Being able to play again, yeah. And just getting on there with a bunch of my good friends and probably being able to show everybody that, how much hard work I put in to get back, yeah.